I'm Chase Dodson, and this is my response speech. Imagine playing for a Division I college football program. You give your all to a program, to a coach, and to a home crowd of over 100,000 people on a weekly basis. You lose blood, sweat, sometimes you have to play hurt just to get that win. All of a sudden, all the games you won are taken away from you by this governing board. Erased from the record books as if they never happened. And all this is because of something you had no part in. Well, this is exactly what happened at Penn State University. Once the pinnacle of college football programs now sits in shambles. They're decimated by sanctions from the NCAA. The article of Reckoning at Penn State agreed with the sanctions, saying that they were just and fair. However, I must disagree and say that the vacated wins are way over the top. And taking wins away from players who had nothing to do with the scandal is just absurd. And also the NCAA, which is a nonprofit organization, has no part in investigating criminal matters. And that's what this is. It's a criminal matter, so it should be left up to law enforcement officials. Like I said, the penalties levied are way too harsh. You're punishing the program, that's one thing, but punishing players from previous years, that's just unheard of. Gary Fine says, those given authority to write history can change the past. Those sweat and mud victories of the Nittany Lions, more points on the scoreboard, no longer exist. The winners are now the losers. So those players from 1998 till last season, their accomplishments are erased. It's like they never happened. There was an incident in Major League Baseball where Pete Rose, the greatest hitter arguably ever, got caught gambling on games. The Major League Baseball didn't go in and say we're going to take away 2,000 hits. Instead, they banned him from baseball for life. So no Hall of Fame, no being a coach, no coming as an owner or general manager or anything. You can have no part in baseball. Your records still stand. We're going to put a little asterisk beside it. That is what they should do in this case, because taking away wins only affects people that had no part in this. There's another quote by Fine that says, social institutions like the NCAA have an absolute right and a moral obligation to respond forcefully to crimes and infractions that occur in areas of their responsibility. So the NCAA properly recognized that Penn State should be sanctioned, but it should not create a fantasized history. Men in suits should not undo what boys in uniforms have achieved. They need to just ignore the vacated wins. Also, the NCAA doesn't even need to be investigating this because, like I said, they're not law enforcement. Dave Zirin said it perfectly when he said, the NCAA should seek justice, not vengeance. They're trying to right the wrongs of one man by punishing thousands of people. If this was an incident where illegal recruiting or players were getting paid to play football, which is also legal, then the NCAA should jump in. But something like this should be left up to law enforcement officials. Roberts says, the NCAA is a nonprofit member organization that exists to regulate intercollegiate athletic competition and facilitate that competition. It is not and should not become an organization that exists to enforce legal or moral standards. They have no part in this. This is a criminal matter. Now, if the legislature of Pennsylvania or the district attorney wanted to fine this school or shut the football program down, they would have full right to do it. The NCAA has no right to be in this case. Taking away scholarships, bowl games, and wins doesn't affect anybody but the fans and the players that, put their all into those games. Jerry Sandusky has, he doesn't care about the wins. He doesn't care about the scholarships. Everybody that had a part in this case has either gone to trial or is going to go to trial. So the NCAA doesn't even need to be involved. And Dave Zirin also said none of the people who would be affected were responsible for Sandusky's reign of terror or Joe Paterno's criminal complicity. It would deter no rape nor help one child. It's collective punishment for the crimes of a few. It's already said the school's already going to be tied up in legal matters for a while, and they're going to be fined millions by each victim. So why not just let that be the case and leave the football program alone? The NCAA should step aside, remove their sanctions, and leave this up to law enforcement officials. In conclusion, Penn State football is a program enriched with tradition and enshrined in greatness. However, now the crimes of a few are being felt by thousands. The university will never be the same. The NCAA sanction on Penn State, which my original editorial felt was fair, are actually harsh, ill-decided, and should be left up to law enforcement officials. The vacated wins, loss of scholarships, and bowl games, they don't affect anybody that had a part in this. The only people they affect are the innocent fans and players that had no clue. So, fair, ethical, and right, or unforgiving, severe, and harsh.